Hello, Play the Game family. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram at Lone Wolf PB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community. Today's episode is brought to you by Headband CBD. They are a CBD powerhouse, and they are moving and shaking in the paintball community in 2021 and beyond, so be on the lookout for them. They have something amazing called Nano CBD, which is water soluble and has ultimate absorption rate into the human body and is true nanotechnology, which is a raw hemp oil that is put through an additional refinement process to break up the large CBD particles into microscopic greatness so that it can move more easily through your cell walls in your body. Nano provides faster and more complete absorption into your endocannabinoid system, and a little bit of this stuff goes a long way, so it's going to last you a very long time. They have Nano Amp energy shots, Nano Knockout sleep aid, they have CBD for your pets, and cool down cream for your muscles after a long day of paintball. And we truly believe that everybody deserves the opportunity to heal, and they want to help you do that. So head over to healbrand.com and use code PLAYTHEGAME for 10% off. We absolutely love Healbrand and can't wait for you to check them out. This episode is brought to you by the one and only G2 Paintball. If you are in Arizona or on the West Coast and soon to be nationally, be on the lookout for G2 training dates and be sure to sign up. They are a paintball athletics company designed to help you become the best paintball athlete imaginable by running you through all of the different moves and techniques that you need to know and you're going to be implementing on the paintball field. So that way when you get into the situations, the muscle memory is dialed in. You are also going to learn skills. You're going to learn tactics, and of course the agility, which is training to maximize your performance on and off the field. This stuff is used by myself and Marcelo, and we're pushing paintball players to become pro or just dominate in your division. Don't make excuses out there. Physical fitness is at an all-time high in paintball, and you cannot win paintball tournaments unless you are ready to go physically on Sunday when you're dead tired and you're ready to hold up that trophy with your friends and family. So you got to be prepared, and G2 will help you do that. Head on over to g2paintball.com. Also check out their Instagram at G2Paintball and give our man Victor Gamboa at Gamboa Limited, that's his Instagram, a follow and support him as well. It's owned and operated by Victor and Rusty, and they're doing tremendous things in the sport. We absolutely love G2, and we cannot wait for you to get involved. So have some fun with G2 Paintball. Today's episode of PTG is brought to you by Transfuse, the amazing premium rapid hydration multiplier and immunity fortifying formula that is scientifically designed to replenish you at the cellular level. And they use all natural ingredients in their products. It is packed full of zinc, vitamin B6, vitamin C, sodium, potassium, and choline. And when you take this product, you are going to feel the difference on and off the field. I know that playing paintball with Transfuse has been a game changer, and it will be for you as well. If you head over to translabs.com, that's translabs.com, and use code PLAYTHEGAME, you will get 10% off. And if you subscribe to a monthly delivery service, you get an additional 10% off. So you can take advantage of a total of 20% off on these amazing products. Also, head over to their Instagram at transfuse.official and check them out, and be on the lookout for their new flavors and brain booster nootropics that are coming soon. We absolutely love Transfuse from top to bottom, one of the best companies in the world with the greatest people running it. So head on over and become a part of their community and check them out.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication. And the crowd starts chanting Harmon. Great shot by all the guys. Tyler Harmon saved that game. He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
What's going on, PTG fam? Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. We are back. We're back from the Chicago Windy City Major. It was a fantastic event, and if you guys got to watch, you know that Alex Fraige played out of his mind. He came away with a total sweep. Finals MVP, event MVP. He got the golden barrel. He was just dynamite and absolutely electric for our team. It was vintage Alex Fraige with a little bit of aged fine wine. It was so awesome. So just brilliant and somewhat magical to see his performance throughout the weekend. And, you know, understanding why and how that came to be was a really interesting part of this show. So without further ado, guys, we're going to hop in here, and we hope you guys enjoy this time with the one and only Alex Fraige. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the MVP from the NXL Windy City Open, Alex Fraige, my man, the Hormesis god, the Hormesis king. I mean, probably the brightest light in paintball right now. How's it going, dude?
Hey guys, good to see ya. Still riding my high. You know, no place I'd rather be than talking to you two guys on here.
Hey, Mr. MVP, dude, you played out of your mind out there. It was spectacular to watch. You know, you historically are one of the greatest snake players to ever play. So to see you, you know, round out this tournament with that kind of a performance was awe-inspiring to not just, you know, the pros, but for all paintball players, giving hope to the community. Like, if you're a youngster, look at Al. He's out here catching MVPs at the age of 36.
52.
How old are you, Al?
Let's see. I was born in 1936, so for 2021.
Are you 37?
Carry the one.
38.
I'm 38. 38.
Okay.
38 or 28 and holding.
There we go.
Say, yeah.
Dude, you know what's so funny about that is I remember when I was on Infamous with Lasoya, I think I was 20. He would always say, I'm 28 and holding. And I was like, dude, that's still old. You're old, dude. You're old, buddy. 28. Yeah. Why wouldn't you be like 25 and holding or something? And
yeah, I remember coming up and looking at guys like, you know, Davey and Maddie, and those are like the old guys. And like they were like 20, 25, 26 at the time. So, you know, and like, you know, Bruno and Saransky, like they were the old guys, and they were like in their 30s, you know, early 30s. So yeah, now we're definitely the old guys. But I feel like we've done a pretty good job of, you know, preserving our bodies without sucking down cigarettes and you know, cheeseburgers. So I feel like
there's a major difference in that. You see it across all sports too. You know, that's why Tom Brady's still able to do what he does. LeBron is doing what he does. It's because athletes across the board, I think, take care of themselves much better than we used to even 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, like back in the day, like Babe Ruth would like drink beer during the game. Like they said that, like there was the cigarette companies were pushing like cigarette smoking is healthy. Like you know, in the 20s and 30s. So yeah, I mean, it definitely is going to prolong the life of an athlete.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Hey, and real quick for the YouTubers, I just want to, if anyone is listening, you got to go check out the YouTube. Alex still has the same phone, the pay phone that he was on in the first episode back in, I think you're like episode 18 or something. I don't quite remember, but it's very early on. So we're glad to see that the phone is still alive and well.
It's actually a rotary phone. It was my grandpa's.
God bless him.
It's working great.
You had me dying on that episode that we did with you, and you were like, you know, Sergeant Frazee reporting for duty.
That's great.
Oh my God. So glad to see the phone still around. I want to talk to you guys about the event. Obviously, you guys just came off a huge win here. An amazing team win across the board. All of the players played out of their minds, and you can really see the flow of the game happening for you guys out there. So talk to me about, you know, moving into Sunday, and obviously it kind of made it nice that, you know, Impact and Heat were not in the event. You didn't have to battle it out with any of the evil empire, as you call them. And you guys got to play some good old-fashioned paintball there. So talk to me about Sunday and how that all unfolded.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You want to field that one, Marcelo? I've got my version of it.
Yeah, I mean, this is your time to shine, baby. This is
first of all, let me just say, there's no evil empire. So You don't got to call it that.
Okay,
there's a couple
follow
evil
the money,
empires
all
for
right?
sure.
The big money teams. How about we just call it that?
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, you're right. Like, I do feel like coming into Sunday, looking at the way the brackets broke out, number one, they had to play the last prelim game on Sunday morning,
Yeah, that
which
sucked.
instantly gives a disadvantage to those teams to have us play another game, right?
Mhm.
Especially if they're going to try to go deep. Revo was one of those teams. Impact was one of those teams. I'm not sure you guys didn't play that game, right?
Mm-mm.
Tyler, you still advanced to like the same round we were in. Yeah, you
That's
guys
right.
were ranked first.
Mhm.
So anyway, they played that prelim game, pushed the schedule back, which gave us a little bit more sleep, and um, those teams that we might end up facing off against later on in the tournament would have an extra game on their back, which would make them a little bit more tired. So
Mhm.
all that went down, and our side of the bracket was, us, Infamous, X Factor, good teams, but we didn't have either of the powerhouses, which you guys and Impact. So it's always like you look at that bracket and you're like, all right, we have a
Mhm.
pretty good chance here of making it to the finals. So number one, we didn't want to take that for granted, right? We wanted to take advantage of that opportunity. It's kind of like it was kind of like the and NRG Elite was our first team we played. So we played NRG Elite in the quarterfinals to
Yeah.
get to the semifinals, which, playing that team to get to the top four. I mean, look, they're playing great, but team that's never been to Sunday, and you just know they're nervous, they don't have, the experience, and we're going to win that match. Like, that's just the way that was. So,
Mhm.
those guys just couldn't keep up with us over that period of time, and I think we won that pretty convincingly. Um, and then our next one was Infamous, which maybe was our toughest match of the weekend. And still, like, we did take control of that match, and I feel like, it wasn't a real, I mean, it was a challenge, but we had control of the match, and didn't really have a point where we got flustered. I mean, honestly, the toughest match of the tournament was probably the AC Diesel match, which was in the prelims, but we're talking about Sunday. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was almost like, Moses parting the Red Sea. It could be a meme where the water opens up and you see heat and impact on the top of the wave, and we could just walk down the middle to the promised land.
That was
And
a tough game that you guys
yeah,
played against AC there. You guys were down a couple points too and fought back.
yeah, we were down by 4-0. So
Yeah.
that's a great comeback. But either
Mhm.
way, we get to the finals against X Factor, and I feel like those guys, you know, they're a great team. So is Infamous, but I felt like
Mhm.
X Factor was they weren't unified.
Mhm.
I feel like their roster
Before
was a
we
little
get
bit
into the
depleted. They
X
didn't.
Factor
Yeah,
one, talk to me about that Infamous game because that one they played. I think they played pretty well, but just didn't have the gusto, let's say, like you guys had. Dynasty was playing with a spark. You guys were all playing really well together.
yeah, and I think we had a chip on our shoulder that we definitely, after you left the team, had something to prove, and we still do, right? That we're still
Mhm.
relevant, and that's the story. That's been a repetitive story for us, right? We've lost, great players, a lot of times,
Mhm.
and people are like, "Yep, Dynasty's done. That's it."
Well,
But
the team's not about one player. It's not Tyler Harmon's dynasty. It's a collective, and you guys played as a collective better than anyone on Sunday, and that's why you guys won, right?
yeah, that's I believe that, and I believe if any team we would have played, I mean, I feel like we had a pretty good chance of beating them the way we were playing. So,
Yeah.
even though you guys and Impact got knocked out, I feel like
Hmm.
I would have liked to played you guys on that field.
I would have
Um,
loved that more than anything. I want to play, in the finals every
all right,
single
Frozen,
time.
set it up, set it up. Let's go. Gold coin on it.
There we go. Let's throw some coins on that bad boy.
Dude, shout out to
Definitely.
the coins.
Yeah,
Shout out to the
thanks.
coins, by the way. I still have this. I have
Dude,
a
the
black coin.
Hormesis
You got a
Godfather.
log.
Yeah, you took
Yeah.
out Victor in that one-on-one. That was money.
Yeah, no, not that one.
Anyway,
This is the Roy Richard coin that you got
oh,
a
you got
log.
his too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
You got two
Exactly.
blacks.
That's
Nice.
it.
I don't even have one yet. Anyway,
There we go.
yeah, the infamous game. I mean, Harrison Fry was playing that snake really well,
Yeah.
and my whole like objective in that was to like mess up Callie trying to get out to the corner first, right? So like I'd go to the snake and I wouldn't even focus on the guy in front of me
which
for
is
a little
that
bit.
can on the snake
Yeah,
side.
the can or the back center. And I would just wrap around the inside of that snake too and just hammer down the middle to try to fluster that guy. Because that was the hardest spot to play for sure on the field, that can.
Debatable. I think the can on the Dorito side was probably the hardest spot to play.
The trash can. Yeah, both cans. Both cans.
The trash can was the hardest can.
I was like, that's the guy I want to pick on. And if the snake guy was like too involved in like what he was doing in front of him, he wouldn't be able to, really, because I feel like that's the easiest guy to shoot, is either the can or that tower there. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too into the minutia of the field, but
no, you're right. You had to check off that middle.
Yeah, and not even about checking it off. You could shoot him.
Well, that's what I mean. Get those free ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And then if you can shoot that guy, right, then you can just crash into the snake and just cross swords with the other guy and get him off the field, and you've got G2, and your team has a good chance of winning that.
Totally. Because I was the guy in the can that does the protection, right? And if you're able to take that guy off the field, then it's crash and bash him time. That field was really fun in that regard.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was definitely a strange field, and that was a really difficult spot. And you're tall too. Like I played that can a lot in practice, and I can never fucking shoot the guy going around because I'm shorter. I'd see him, but I'd rarely shoot him. And like, I mean, man, I don't know. In practice, it was like, okay, go to the can and you stop that guy from moving. In the tournament, it just didn't happen. Like go watch the games. Like the can guy never shot the snake guy. He was just there. And then he was like the next guy, get the bayonet on your gun and go in there after.
Yep.
The guy dies in front of you. You pick up his rifle and
straight up.
Go ahead. But
it seemed like in practice, a lot of those shots that were coming over the beam into the snake player crawling weren't there on this field for whatever reason. Players were able to crawl underneath and
well, I think the shot was there. I think the can guy just had too much to do and worry about. Like he couldn't sit there and just shoot that one little gap because the snake guy can pop out in 6 different spots. The guy can fill the corner and shoot at you. The guy's shooting the bounce shot off the little temple. You're just like, you can't get tunnel vision or you're going to die, And to shoot the guy, you need to have tunnel vision on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's challenging. And I feel like, in Sunday, I realized that, and I really wanted to prevent that second guy from coming out against Infamous. And I told that to Mike too, but that was an interesting thing. Like we played, he played half and I played half, and we played 2 different ways, but we were sharing information. And I feel like that was like a beneficial thing, right? Like I'm like, okay, he's like, this is how I'm playing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is what I'm doing. Do it or not. This is what worked for me. This is what's not working for me. And take the information and do what you want with it.
That's a huge bit for the listeners. I mean, if you're playing, like you said, that same position, as soon as you come off, you need to be telling your guy who's going in exactly what happened, what you saw, what worked for you, what didn't, because he's going to be able to play off of that as well. And you guys got to dance with that information and make good decisions off of it.
Yeah, and I can't tip my hat enough to Mike. I mean, that guy, came from a couple of teams that weren't so good, but he was like had some bright spots. We picked him up, and he's got that thing that you can't teach, that like, bloody knuckles, I want to go smash them, type of thing that, is very easy to reel back, but very difficult to teach to somebody. So he had that innate thing. And, now we're trying to help him find that balance, which, a guy like Mouse has, right? Like he's got the killer instinct, but he's also got a great balance of when to use it. And so Mike really does have that potential, and I'm stoked to see him, improving like he has. And I'm looking for bright things from him until he gets swooped up by one of you guys, your Impact.
Shout out to Arizona. He came out of AZ and is doing great. And he played for DMG, right? And
Elevation.
And Elevation, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Mikey.
Yeah, so good. He had a great weekend, and consistent and great player. But yeah, the team was gelling, man. I feel like we were talking about it on Sunday morning. Hey, let's go out and let's play like kids. And we lose, but let's go out there and do it on our terms. So I feel like we went out there kind of free spirited and making the moves when they're there. There's little moves all over that field. Go find them. If you get shot and mess it up, it's all right. Marcelo's going to be back there in the corner, and he's going to save it on a 1-on-1. He's our we used to have 2 of that, but now we just have 1. And man, Tyler, I got to hand it to you because, man, I saw you pull off And that 2-on-1 against Aftermath was insane. You know, you had a couple of points where the other team just like stopped looking at you. Like, why would you stop? Like, I mean, Tyler's over there. You should probably keep looking at him. Then you just go in the snake and finish it off. But yeah, definitely a lot of bright moments for you. And, you know,
Thanks, man.
your value is not taken for granted. I mean, I know your teammates and I'm sure Sarge sees that.
Well, we got to
So
do it. We got to do it together. You know, one thing that we didn't do this weekend was really connect as a unified unit on the field, like what you guys were doing. You could see, you know, man, the connection. All 5 players. It has to be all 5. And if we all 5 can do that, then you got real potential. But if we have 4 or 3, you know, it's gonna be tough. So we got to really take that into consideration. I think the team played great. We really did fall short on Sunday, but you know that's paintball. That's
yeah, and you guys probably, I mean, it was a good field for you guys because it was really a lot of this field was just about skill, right? It was about get to your spots, play the guy in front of you. It's very much so like 2 separate games, one game over there and one game over here. But
mhm,
deeper in the tournament starts to become more nuanced, right? Like I tell Marcelo and Dalton, hey, I'm going to go to Snake 2 and look inside, so let the guy go to the second Dorito. You know,
mhm,
let him go there
mhm,
so I have a chance to shoot him, you know, in the first 30 seconds of the point, that's when it's going to happen. So you just let him feel comfortable, give me a chance to shoot him. If I shoot him, I shoot him. If I don't, I don't. But it's a very nuanced like thing, right? Like I'm telling those guys because I can't communicate with them effectively during the point, right? Like I can't like yell over to them like let the guy go. Like he's too far away. Everyone's shooting and screaming. Like I don't want to get bunkered. Like it's got to be
yeah,
planned out in like you know a detailed way right before. And you know
mhm,
it's Jesse Stevens. You say okay, the guy's gonna go if you give him the chance. But if you're able to sting him from some place that he's never got stung from the whole tournament, it's gonna change the course of that game. Um, so yeah,
yeah,
you're right. There, especially towards the end of the tournament, there's things that the whole team has to get together on and really that does make the difference, right? Um,
yeah.
and yeah, I
Well,
mean,
what you're talking about there is deep too, because right there you're
Mhm.
outsmarting your opponent tremendously. You're luring him into traps. You're doing little things like that, and all those little details. When you put those together, and you have a couple of those that you can use, they make a tremendous difference when it matters the most. Right in those moments that you've planned for, you're so steadfast in the moment. That's what I saw. Eggs is you really played inspired paintball. You could see that you were playing with a gusto. I'm going to use the word again. There was some zest that you had in your heart
yeah.
that really carried you through that event.
Yeah, and I do have an interesting story about, you know, this weekend for me. It was kind of a breakthrough weekend. You know, for the past probably 5 or 6 years, I've been like, I don't know if I've been stagnant or afraid or whatever, but I don't know the word to use, but I my self-confidence has not been very high. I mean, you were on the team through a lot of that, and I, you know, would get to Sunday, even though I was playing okay. I know I'm a good player, but I had
Mhm,
a rigidity to me that was, you know, I didn't want to fuck up, and I was afraid of the failure and the shame or whatever it was that I didn't want to have happen, right?
mm,
Even though that's just you know something that's it's not even real. It's go out there and play paintball. It's a game. We're out here, you know, we're kids and we're out here, you know, playing a game of glorified tag. And that's
yeah,
really what it is. And the stakes aren't high. It's 10 grand if you win. I mean, look, the
12 grand.
emotional
We got
stakes are
12 grand out.
yeah,
12.
whatever. The money isn't a thing, right? What the thing is the emotional thing, right? It's always been like that in paintball.
yeah,
It's the ego thing. And you know, if you're not on the field playing, then you know it's not on you, right? Okay, I was sitting that one. It didn't you know, I didn't have a hand in it, and there was an element of that to that was kind of scratching at my brain the past you know several years. And
mm,
on Thursday night, a lot of the guys went to see Guns N' Roses because there's a big Guns N' Roses concert. And we have a friend that like is involved with them on like the managerial side, and
dude,
got
that's
them
rad.
tickets and they went and ripped it. And
Yeah,
I had a therapy appointment on Zoom that night
mm,
with my therapist. And I had like a pretty big breakthrough to where I was able to, you know, understand and live with that fear.
mm,
And it's kind of a heavy duty thing for me because I'm going back into my past and into relationships with my parents and things that have happened in my life. And I've, realized that it's not, something from the outside world that's going to fix it. It's got to be me inside, and I've got to be able to deal with those demons, and they'll always be there, but it's about, you know letting grown up Alex steer the ship,
Yeah.
right? So I did that, and then Friday afternoon we went out to play paintball, and I just was doing these exercises during the day, and then I obviously Marcus was in my heart all weekend, and I'm thinking, how would Marcus play this, right?
Yeah.
Without fear. Number one, not afraid of getting shot a lot, not afraid of getting penalties, not afraid of being judged by somebody else. Just go in there and play without fear, right?
Dude, the Wolverine. Yeah. That's Marcus Nielsen.
So and also, like, I love bunkering people. Like, that's one of the reasons I play paintball. I love doing that. That's like the most rewarding thing in paintball is to bunker somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like, you get
It
the shit
is,
shot
man.
out of you, right, by
Yeah.
the rest of the team, but that's the best. Like, if you bunker their guy,
Yeah.
right? And
I
also,
kind of like the pain too. I
yeah,
like getting
yeah,
shot
you're
a
like,
lot.
yeah, fucking Billy, get
Yeah.
out, and then Archie shoots the shit out of you, and you're like, yeah. um, um,
Uh,
but yeah, I mean, and honestly, another thing, like, analogy I like to use is, I'm a pawn and I'm trying to find the queen, right? So if
mhm.
I'm able to go in as a pawn and take out the queen, like, that's the move, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hunting the queen, like, that's my thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. Like, when we play against Oliver, like, I did not care if we won or lost the game. I wanted to shoot Oliver.
Yeah.
So you know that's
brilliant.
that's kind of how I was feeling, right? Like, I play Infamous, like, I want to shoot Callie, like, that's
Mhm.
who I envision as their queen.
Mhm.
Where is Callie? Okay, he's in the back center. I'm gonna go to a spot where I can just pump into the back center and make him as uncomfortable as possible.
Yeah.
you know who's the queen on X Factor? It's Archie, right? Same type of deal. He's gonna be in that
Mhm.
can. I want to make that can uncomfortable,
Mhm.
right? And that's something that I'm doing in my head. It's not really part of the game plan,
Yeah.
right? I can do that. I can do that in a nuanced way from the spot that I know I can do it from, right? Like, I'm not telling the coach, like, I'm gonna go try to shoot Archie. Like, I'm just like, okay, this
Yeah,
is my
that's you.
spot, and that's how I play it,
Yeah.
right? And so, yeah, I mean, I went into the event with, kind of new eyes, and I really felt like I wanted to be out there, and I felt like the team, you know, really believed in me. And that's a thing, man. I mean, for me, at
Mhm.
practice, me and Marcelo had a moment, right? Like, Marcelo was like, fuck this. Like, we need fucking guys. We're missing personnel. Like, we, and he implied that we just didn't have the right guys on the team, which I know he didn't mean it that way, but that's the way I took it, right? And what am I going to do? Fucking cry about it? No, I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, I'm going to try harder. I'm going to do what I know how to do the best I can do it, right?
Mm.
But in
Power.
practice, Skinny is, I can't give him enough credit the way we practiced leading up to this event and the way he called the plays in the tournament, because he got guys out of their comfort zone and realizing, the whole dynamic of the field, right? And you're going to suffer in practice when you practice like that. You're going to lose points, but you're going to learn, right? I play to spots that I'm not going to play in the tournament, but I'm playing those spots in practice because I know that the spot I'm going to be playing is going to be playing against that guy. So now I know how it feels to be in that spot with, what sucks, what's good, all
Mhm.
that stuff.
Mhm.
And then pushing the limits from that spot. One time you tuck in, one time you battle the guy, right? And
Mhm.
see what happens. So when you do that in practice, it's frustrating, right? And I understand that frustration, but that's the learning process.
Yeah.
So, I knew, like, look, all three of us are versatile enough and smart enough to know how to change the pace of the way we're playing, right? That's a cognitive decision. You run to your spot and okay, if this guy's gonna not let me have it, if Malloy's gonna overpower me in a firefight, I'm either gonna try to fight him or I'm gonna submit. Like, that's not something you're deciding, like, in the point. That's like something you're deciding when you like are thinking about how you're going to play your spot. So, you know, in the tournament, those things become more clear, and at least sometimes they do.
Mhm.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you just, never figure it out. And I've been in that situation a lot of times. And but for me, I feel like the way I played had to do with completely internal stuff. Um,
Yeah, you broke through for
self
sure.
confidence and all those
Yeah.
things. And also, it didn't hurt that it was a snake that I could get into.
You were
You didn't.
snake 1 off the break, boy.
But you
Every
didn't
g
need balls out speed to get there. I mean,
Bro, I saw
sometimes.
you carrying your balls in a wheelbarrow at the airport. What are you talking about? I saw you.
That was funny. But either way, I mean, it wasn't one of those fields where you needed, Keith Brown, Alex Goldman speed to get out to the corner. That helps me, right?
Yeah.
Like if
Dude,
I can get.
you had the perfect speed. Remember, you don't wanna be too fast either, you
That's
get
true. Yeah, you get hit
yeah,
with the first ball. It's
yeah.
the Opie theory. So Opie Lochran, who was on our team, he was like our front guy, but he was really slow. And he was so slow that the guy would be like shooting for the front spot, and then he'd be like, "Oh, there's nobody going there." But then the shooter would stop shooting, and then here would come Opie right through the lane,
Yeah.
you know,
I think that was
and
my
and
theory
diving
of
in.
getting out to the Dorito corner. I for some reason I make corners all the time, and
Yeah.
at the event, I think I made the Dorito corner more than most people, and I'm definitely not the fastest over there. Dalton would run out there, get shot, and he's like, "Dude, how are you making it?" So I'm like, "I don't know.
Too
I'm running
fast.
and
You get hit by
shooting,
the
just
first
kind
ball
of
out of the guy's gun. Yeah, totally. And that's
something
what's
to it."
interesting about paintball, right? But I think more than not, it's going to benefit you if you're lightning fast like one of those guys to get out to a spot. Chad, Keith, and Mouse
Yeah, it was
and
weird. I feel
Kyle.
like Chad actually, and Tyler, you can touch on this, but I feel like Chad had a lot of trouble making it to the snake on the break. I feel like he got shot off the break more than maybe any other player going to the snake. I feel like he really struggled getting the snake on the break, which was
Yeah, I don't think that
interesting
it was
about the
any
speed.
I mean, there was players definitely getting shot off the break, going out
Yeah,
there and it just it's a roll of the dice. It really is. And if the other players are on, then, we're chancing that a little bit.
yeah,
But it was definitely, the stars didn't align for us unfortunately and congratulations once again to Dynasty and all
Yeah,
you guys did out there cuz it was it was an awe-inspiring performance first of all, Alex, because of you and what you brought to the table. You picked up every accolade that you can acquire in the highest realm of paintball right now, which is arguably the most difficult paintball ever played, and that's a huge accomplishment. So you like whatever happened, it worked, baby. Like whatever conversation you had, it definitely there was a breakthrough there. It was impressive. It was.
yeah, and I mean, it's a combination of things, right? Things that happen for me personally, and then also the team coming together, and I feel like we're grooving, and that's the thing. I mean, you know how that goes. You just
that's
came
the
off a
thing.
big win, and congrats to you, right? You go in and you're feeling it, and for whatever motivation you have, and the things are just aligned, and we've been in that situation together many times in all the tournaments we've won together, and you just yeah that was happening. I mean, we were just in control the whole weekend. Like I think we won like almost all of our games by like 3 points. Like it was just like a consistent like grind, and we knew we even though we were down by 4, we had a shitload of time, and we were
Oh yeah.
like, all right, well, we know how to get back in this. We've got all the time in the world. These are fast points. You can play. One team went 19 points one
Hmm.
game, and
Jeez.
I mean, when there's 19 points, you can lose 9 points and still win.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
It's weird that game that with the
we
team.
only lost 4 points. We're like, all right, we
Yeah.
could lose 5 more points here.
There we go.
It didn't feel in the pits or any time in the game that we were even losing though. It really didn't. It was a unique thing. It was the way the team was vibing and feeling that togetherness was I mean it showed in the results. But in that game, for me personally, I didn't feel like we were really losing the match. There was no blowups. It was just like, okay, well, next play, like our plays are good, everything's good. We're gonna start winning these eventually. And all of a sudden, we just started winning them.
Well, it's
I
like
don't
being
I
at
don't
the
even
craps table,
There you go.
It kind of was. Yeah. It was like, you know what? I'm still going to bet on Black 33.
Yeah.
It's going to hit eventually.
Is that how that works?
Booyah.
If you do it enough times, I think the odds, I think they work. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, again, you know, I mean, that's just one of those things. You're feeling it, and you know, the guys are
Mhm.
jibing, and it's a good thing. So, you
Absolutely.
know, and I felt like extremely supported by the team. Like, you know, and again, like if you're able to have that self-confidence, then you don't even need that, right? You just know you're going to go out there and get it done. And if you don't and you get yelled at by the coach or one of your teammates, you just like shake it off and go, I'm a fucking good paintball player. I'm going to go back out there and do it again, you know?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and that's the story. I mean, you're one of the most passionate, and I mean, at least you appear to be one of the most confident players, you know,
Mhm.
because you go out there and you just want to rip the other guy's head off. I mean, it seems like you want to rip your own team's head off in the pit when you're looking at him with those laser beam eyes. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
don't, if you're ever on Tyler's
I'm
team, do not
actually
give
I'm actually
him
gonna
a
be
high five. He will
yeah.
hurt you.
I'm actually changing. I'm going to be actually implementing a new type of T-harm in the pit. I'm going to obviously keep intensity, but um, you know, once again, it's all a dance. This whole thing that we do, this paintball life that we live, you're constantly dancing, and the music is changing, right? And you gotta catch the rhythm whenever the beats are dropping and shifting. So, you know, it's all about being versatile, and you know, sometimes the hype works, sometimes the calmness works, sometimes you know, it just is always changing. So. It's just, you know, being in tune with the moment, in tune with your players, in tune with surroundings and yourself, obviously,
Sure.
you know,
And in motivating
Mhm.
a team, like in a leadership type of thing, like certain guys respond to certain stuff.
Totally. Yep.
Like, you know, certain guys need to be, you know, like handled
Mhm.
carefully. Certain guys respond to being yelled at. And that's
Mhm.
just like the personalities of the, you know, and I'm sure like if you're running a business or, you know, being a coach of a team or whatever it is, you're managing personalities is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's everything.
So,
Has
Yeah.
to be, yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
yeah,
I
that's
want
the
to
thing. And
talk about the Hormesis god. You know, we got you here on the line here. What has that been like, dude? We did when we last talked to you, you didn't have, you know, one of the most up and coming paintball, you know, headband companies that there is, but you guys are crushing it. So I want to talk to you about, you know, what that experience has been like starting that with Oliver, how Ollie's doing, and kind of dive into that rabbit hole if we can.
yeah, and he's someone you should definitely get on here again.
Yeah.
Or maybe both of us together would be fun.
Oh
But
yeah.
either way, yeah, I mean, probably about July of 2020, um, you know, kind of recently after my dad passed away, Oliver and I, you know, I obviously talked to him like right after that because him and my dad had a relationship, and they, you know, had a moment to
Rest in peace to your
yeah,
father.
thanks. They had a moment to you know, talk before he passed. So I know that's meaningful for Oliver and for my dad. And you know, a few months later, Oliver called me and said, "Hey man, let's I found this dye shop that makes, you know, really beautiful organic dyes on this like hand woven, you know, old world type of fabric, and we can make paintball headbands." And I was like, at first I was like rolling my eyes, right? I'm like, oh, God, you know, I haven't talked to this guy. He's just completely disconnected from the world, and now he wants to make paintball headbands. Um, but you know, he was like pretty passionate about it, and he's like, yeah, let's just make some and see, you know. And so, you know, we started to like talk about, you know, what it means. What do we want? Who do we want to appreciate? What do we appreciate? You know, what do we want to, you know, what mark do we want to make on this? And really, it had to do with, you know, what has paintball brought us? You know, yeah, you go to the tournaments and you play and you win and you lose, and you know, that's it. But really, the gold is the people that we've met and the community that we found. And um, you know, that's and the community gives you the belief in yourself to be good, you know, or to have a good time, or to, you know, become part of a community or whatever you're seeking, right? Maybe you're not seeking to become the best paintball player in the world. Maybe you're seeking to go to the tournament and have a good time and meet people, right? So it is not all about, you know, being the best paintball player. It's about finding what you want to find in, you know, this world that, you know, I never would have met you if it wasn't for paintball. It just would not have happened. Right. And then we become great friends. And really the game is just, a vehicle to bring everybody together. And that's the thing, right? Is the appreciation for each other and the confidence in yourself. And so, all of that wrapped up into the message of the headband, and, people have responded to that. And I really, that's the most gratifying part, seeing somebody, wearing the headband and believing in themselves and being happy. And like, if I give a headband to somebody, they're like, oh, how much do I owe you sometimes? Right. If I'm at a tournament and the guy's like, you know, I can see in his eyes, like he's fucking, he's in it. Right. And, I say, hey man, just go play as hard as you can. Right. Pay me that way. And that's like, and then you go and you see that guy in the pits, like walking in on Sunday, like from the divisional field, you're like, holy shit, look at this guy. Like, that's
Dude, you
awesome.
had a ton of teams, Al, didn't you, that were in the finals, like winning the tournament this weekend that I know you've connected with. For me, I think it's been incredibly cool because I know I used to always, I give you, Ryan, shit anytime that I can about whether you're not watching film or not knowing players. Now, you know more of the players than I do. You walk around, like the names of all of these divisional players, the up and coming guys. You have such a great relationship with so many of them. It's amazing. And I think at the event, there was a bunch of Hormesis players that you've connected with that were succeeding and doing really well on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just those dudes from Tropic Thunder and like the Nino Lopez's team from Puerto Rico. Like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of guys I could shout out. But yeah, I mean, it is interesting. And also with the coin duel thing, like entering everybody's name into the database, right? Off of like, from Uprising to NRG to, you learn their names, and then you see their name on the back of their jersey at the tournament, and then you watch them play, and then you're like, all right, I get
Totally.
it,
Yeah.
So, it is fun to be, and that's one of the things that I know that I've gotten out of this is reconnecting into the paintball community. And that is certainly rewarding. And also, COVID, brought that into the forefront. And during the time of, Oliver wanting to do this project, COVID was happening, and I was really realizing, what I had lost. And it wasn't the game itself, it was being around everybody.
Yeah.
Going to the tournaments was like, hanging out, and we get to go out to the paintball field and we get to be kids for the weekend. That's what it is. It's a catharsis. We go out there and, our moms aren't there, our girlfriends aren't there, they're not bugging us. We're in there and we're like joking around and saying what we want and like living as hard as we can, So that's what I mean. It's like we lost our magic, right? Our thing that makes us us. So appreciating that and appreciating the people that have had that impact on us, right? And on the community. That's why we wanted to name the bands after the guys in appreciation, right? Like, we only made a few of each one, and we obviously give one to each guy, but it's like paying homage to them. Right? You helped, we want you to be remembered. We remember you. I want to be remembered. And yeah, so that's kind of the thrust behind the headband company. And we're making cool headbands, and they're limited and they're neat, and each of them have a meaning to somebody in some way, maybe. And that's what it's about. But make no mistake, this is a piece of cloth. It's not technology. It's gonna fall apart eventually. That's just what it is. And it's almost a metaphor for the game of paintball. It could be, right? You get old, you get tired, you get worn out, your joints break, your stitching breaks. Like, that's just the way it is, right? And you hold that old headband and you're like, wow, look at this thing. This is it went through it like I did.
Yeah.
And the memories are in here.
You were the refurbished Hormesis headband this weekend.
Sure, whatever, man. I mean, that's just, and it's like an item that it's a tangible item that can encompass, a memory for you, and it brings that back. And you look at it, you say, I wore this at that tournament, or, whether it's good or bad, it's just the way that it is, and it's a lesson, you know. So yeah, I mean and we're having fun doing it. I mean, I liked reconnecting with Oliver, and we're doing artistic things with it, and that we're viewing it more as an art project than a business. I mean,
Of
um,
course. Well, you
yeah,
and
I mean,
art, you love art. For anybody out there that doesn't know that about Alex, he is an artist. You can go even check out stuff on your IG. I know you have a bunch of your cool art on there, Alex Fraige. If you go and look at his Instagram, and Oliver as well. I mean, I follow him still. He's out, in Bali, and he's an artist, full heart, full blown artist, going having fun, mobbing around, getting cloth and dyeing things and just, living that life. So it's really cool to see you guys doing that. Can you kind of dive into art and what art has done for your life and what it means to you to be doing a project like this?
yeah, I mean, it definitely a form of therapy, but again, it's like paintball where, it's difficult sometimes to pick up the pen because you're afraid of making a bad picture,
Mm,
right? And if you can shake that fear, then you start drawing, and then it's the rest is fun and easy, and it doesn't matter. You can just throw it down. Everyone's an artist,
yeah.
you know. It's
Yeah.
the way, you're an artist. Marcelo, you're an artist. I mean, in your own way, but hey, pick up a
Mhm.
pen and paper and see what happens. It's liberating. Like that's why a little child, doesn't have that fear. They're like, oh, I
Yeah.
just want to see the color hit the paper,
Yeah.
and then it's magic, and
I
then they're
can't
in the
wait.
mo- and then they're in the moment doing it.
Absolutely, dude. And that's the magic right there, is in the moment, having fun, letting the ink hit the paper, or whatever your, medium is. I can't wait personally to do more art, as and I should start right now. There's no time like the present, but I absolutely love doing art. That was one of my favorite things to do, when I was going in college and stuff, is my art classes. And I wish I would have followed that a little bit more.
Hey man, you do a lot of body art on people at the tournaments.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Dude, paintball is
It
definitely an
is.
art form.
It certainly is.
Yeah,
And yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
man.
it's been great reconnecting with Oliver, and I know we're gonna make this movie, and he's gonna have to come back to be in that. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can call on a bomb threat or something so he stays here, and and get him back involved. But I do, I think that it's a call. He sees the signs, right? Like the Hormesis thing is happening, and it's also him reconnecting to the paintball community.
Mhm.
And I think
Mhm.
it's inevitable that he will eventually come back and be a part of things again. So that's uh, I know that
Of
that's not a
course.
guarantee, but I can see that happening.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he's gonna be 40 years old in no time, and he's gonna have to play in the 40 and over league. I mean, bada boom, bada bing. You guys are gonna have a great team. It's gonna be some
Yeah,
good
him and
times.
Ryan. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, I am grateful for being able to reconnect with him because I've just had enough with Ryan.
Are you the youngest of all of them, Alex? Or
BC was the youngest, but after him, yeah, I'm the youngest, but just by
yeah,
like a
okay,
couple of
okay.
months. I mean, I'm not like
Yeah.
Because Ryan,
I got picked on the most too.
why do you think that was?
Well, because I'm the ugliest,
Oh,
physically
That's
boy.
ugly.
not why.
BS.
Yeah. No, but it's
Baloney.
good. I mean, that's another thing. Like, it taught me, right? Like, I found these guys that weren't in my school, and we hung out together because we like to play paintball and became comfortable enough with each other. And we started making fun of stuff like that. But I knew that they loved me, right? If some asshole came up to me on the street and was like, "You got a big nose, idiot," like, I'd be like, you know, my feelings would be hurt. But guess what? If somebody did that now, I'd be like, "Yeah, I got a big nose. My friends still love me.
Yeah.
That's who I am."
There you
I'm
go.
comfortable with it, right?
I love that.
I don't
Yeah,
need a
dude.
nose job. I'm
No,
good.
baby. Yeah, what?
Well,
No,
Alex,
never, never, dude.
look at that cup.
You're the Don. Yeah, what are you
What you
drinking out
got
of
is a
over there?
big ass
Huh?
cup. What
This
is
is
that thing?
it's vodka I got from Kirill. He brought it over.
For everyone listening, Alex is just great. First of all, your background with the Hormesis light, that cup that is gigantuous, and the phone, just crushing it. But no, Alex, you're one of the best people in the world. I don't think anybody can argue that. Anybody that knows you. So whatever's happened, whatever has shaped that or turned you into that, man, it's worked. Truly.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. And I'm grateful to have you guys in my life too. It's just a love fest in here, man.
Dude,
Tyler,
let it rock.
I mean, I'm glad, I know we were talking before the show a little bit, but man, I really haven't talked to you since you left the team. And it's been, heartbreaking for me. Not that you left the team and you're on Heat, but that we really haven't, connected on a friendship level since then. But I feel like we're still both the same people. There's no reason why we still can't laugh the same way that we did because we're playing on 2 different paintball teams. So, we'll I'm glad that we got to talk on here and
Yeah, we talked for quite a minute there before the show, and it has not been easy. I obviously have a tremendous amount of respect for you and the organization, but it is what it is, and we're playing ball, we're having fun,
and that's back at you, man. I mean, I don't, and I'm grateful for the time you put in with the team, and even more grateful for the friendship that we built. So,
yeah.
It's all good, man. Players have come and go, but friends are hard to find. And
This is the truest words.
And whether the guy's on your team or not, they could still be, one of your best friends. I mean, me and Nicky Cuba were like, 2 of the closest guys, but we were bitter rivals on the field.
Dude, me and you have laughed together more than any duo in human history, bro. Because I was traveling, we're both NorCal, paintball players, and we were traveling out of the city together, and wherever we could catch a flight out of, and we've definitely had a lot of laughs.
Dude,
together.
I remember you get Tyler's name on that room, John. You're gonna be roommates with him. You're like, oh yeah, baby, it's on. Dude, I remember. Listen to this story. It's Sunday morning. I think it was in Texas. And we're about to go play, and it was like the muddy weekend, but we were like grinding and laughing, and went to the car wash and went through the car wash with our bodies and the gear on, sprayed each other. And it was the morning, right? And I'm going down. We were roommates, and I'm going down, and there was like a pipe in our wall that was like a screwed up pipe, and it sounded like a helicopter, and we couldn't sleep. Yeah. We're just like, there's a helicopter in our wall. It's like a bad pipe banging on the wall. So anyway, go in the elevator, and the elevator breaks, and I'm in there with this old man, and the elevator just stopped in between 2 floors. And we're like, I'm looking at the guy, and I hit the alarm, and nobody comes. So I call Tyler. I'm like, dude, I'm stuck in the elevator. I'm on the 3rd floor somewhere. So in about 5 minutes, fucking door just starts fucking opening, and I see Tyler's hands just pulling it open like the Hulk. he's like holding it open. He's like, get out! And I had to jump, I had to climb up because the elevator was in between 2 floors. I threw my gear bag out, got out. We went and played the tournament. Dude, you rescued me, man. I would still be in that elevator right now, just a pile of bones.
I cut my hand opening the elevator. It was
and then
crazy.
You flew through the air and shot that guy in that flying move.
Yep.
Remember that?
The Mud Hens. We were the Mud Hens too, dude.
The Mud Hens, dude.
Running with the Mud Hens.
Epic, dude. Epic.
Yeah. Yep. So, and it's always been good times and nothing but love for you, Al. I mean, you're truly one of the greatest paintball patrons that has ever blessed this sport. And right now, as I sit here talking to you, the amount of energy that you pour into people's hearts is life changing. And I know that you see it every day, probably in your messages, and how big of an impact that you and Oliver, and the guys that surround you, your family, you guys are doing a lot for paintball, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And on behalf of the whole paintball community, that's nothing but love headed your way.
Dude. And that's the most rewarding part of it. I've been in it for long enough. I mean, believe me, I get high when we win the tournament for sure. That's a huge boost, right? You're on top of the world when you win, that, right? But really, you don't remember that in the end.
It fades quick.
It does, yeah. And what you remember is the people, and that's what they remember too. And that's what I remember. Rob Staudinger was nice to me when I was a kid, right? I was on a young team, and he came up. He's like, "Hey, man, how you doing? I'm a pro player. I'm on Image." I'm like, "Wow, what's up with this guy?" And little things like that, and I realized that, and every single person out there, whether you're, a movie star or whether you're a garbage man, everyone's got an interesting story. If you ask the questions, dude, I was talking to Troy Erickson.
Absolutely.
On Aftermath, right? You know him?
You
know him. He was one of those. He was one of the guys in the 2-on-1. that didn't end so well for them. But anyway, Troy, like, he's a young pro player coming up, found Mike Hinman's camp, and I was just talking to him. I was like, hey man, talking to him about his life. He came from no money, found paintball, works in coffee shops, and believed in it, and he got out of Boise and came down here and tried out, and now he's got a community and a family. Like, he's part of it now, right? So I mean, there's details in there that we were talking about, but I mean, the guy, I never talked to him, and in a 5-minute 6-minute conversation, I realized this guy is a person. He has a story, right? Yeah, we shoot at each other. I know his face. I've shot at him for 2 years. Yeah. But I never sat there and asked him a question and start to, understand him as a person. And that's the thing, man. I mean, I love, like, Marcelo, like, the relationship with you and your father, like, amazing, it's an amazing story. Right. And I can relate to that because I, had similar story with my father, and they passed away actually around the same time, which is, interesting coincidence. But, I appreciate, those things more than I did when I was, young and angry and just, come into the tournament to try to, blow faces off. But, but again, it was,
you still do that.
Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes.
Well, bro, talk to me about, like, how did it feel at the end when you got blessed with the MVP? Did you know that you were going to get the MVP? You had to have, kind of, right?
No, honestly, I didn't even think that was I wasn't even thinking about that at all that whole day. Like, honestly, like, I just wanted to win. I wanted to bunker people, and I wanted to, I wanted to do right by Marcus. Like, I wanted to play. I wanted to beat Marcus for the day. That was, I wanted him to be in me, right? So
you channeled that. You channeled that energy.
Yeah, man. And I started crying, and it wasn't because we won. It was because, like, I felt a catharsis in grieving for Marcus, and I never really did that. And I walked over and I just started sobbing, and Yosh and Ryan were there and gave me a big hug, and I was walking back on the field, and Josh Turbin showed me a napkin that said VIP, or I wish it said VIP, but it said MVP. And then the golden barrel, which is a huge honor, man. I mean, that's elite player stuff, and it's not, I'm a pawn, not a queen. The barrel goes to the queen. So
again, like,
you're being modest.
I give all of that credit to the team. I mean, that's the way this sport is. It is not a one-man game.
Yeah.
And if you excel, it's because you're a good player, but also because everything is clicking, and Dalton and Marcelo are making it easy, and Ryan's back there behind you, and Blake is causing problems in the middle, and it's just, you got one extra kill, right? It's just that's what that is, right? So I do appreciate it very much, and I had to break it to my daughter that it is not a magic wand, and she's cool with that. So
well, you're being extremely modest. You since you started in this game have been one of the guys you always got to look out for, because you're smart, extremely smart. And when you're out there, you're making good decisions, and that's what paintball is all about, is knowing when to fire, when to hold, when to check, when to how you do it right. You play the game, and that's, I mean, hence why we call it Play the Game Podcast, because we have players like you that come on here and shed light on that whole realm. But you're right, it's the team. They set you up for success, and it's everybody coming together as a collective and firing on all cylinders. You cannot win a pro tournament today unless the entire team, top to bottom, every player out there is firing, because if you're not, the other 5 guys, if they're having that day, are going to take it if their 5 are. So that's really the difference maker. And then, when you got crazy eggs coming flying down the snake, lopping heads off, then it's going to be a tough day out there for you.
I do not like getting bunkered, and I really like bunkering people.
Yeah. It showed. It showed.
It was one of those things where it's like, okay, it's scary to be in here, and you're scared, and you're like, all right, that other guy's scared too. And you're like, all right. He's also scared.
Crossing the 50, getting past the 50 into their brick though that's the treasure trove. You know, if you
wasn't
can
for me. I did that once in a 2-on-2 on Sunday and got smoked. I was pissed.
Oh yeah, shoot.
I was channeling Alex. Was like,
that guy had his head on a swivel though. That was a good move.
Alex wants me to go. Alex wants me to go. I'm gonna go, and I got smoked.
But it was a good move still.
If there were more bodies, I honestly thought there were more bodies.
No, it was still a good move, even though it didn't work. I don't care if it didn't work. It was a good move.
I like that, Alex. You've honestly helped and pushed me in a lot of different ways that open up opportunities and other moves that do work. And sometimes I don't give you the credit for it, but your voice is back there.
Yeah.
Busting my balls about either sitting in the corner or doing whatever I'm doing. And you're right though. The moves, especially in today's game, moves are rewarded. Period. If you watch games, you watch all of the events that are won, all the events that are lost. They're won and lost on moves. That's how the fields have played the last 2 or 3 years for sure. You know, moves are rewarded, especially on Sunday. You got to not be afraid to make the moves. You look back to like when A-Rod won the MVP with Ironman in 2020. I mean, that was I think the final score was 7-5. So high scoring game. And A-Rod probably had 6 bad points, but he had 7 or 8 really good points, you know, and you see that happen so much more now. And the game is kind of shifting to that where it's rewarding. It's rewarding movement. It's rewarding action. You know, you got
totally, but you know that there's balance, right? And that's what works about our team, right? Like you've got to have guys that are that guy, and you've got to have guys that are a steady hand. But the key is the guys that have the steady hand have to know when to flip the switch
100%
and become the other guy.
100%.
And the guys that are rolling the dice all the time have to know when to flip the switch and become the other guy.
Absolutely.
And that's the razor's edge, right?
Yeah. Totally.
That certain guys just are connected to.
Totally.
And yeah, I mean that's you know the difference in a lot of these moments. Well,
congratulations once again, you guys crushed it out there. I want to talk about Field One.
Well, hey, Ty, real quick, before we dive and transition to Field One, I want to ask one more question about kind of Alex's performance and
of course,
not just the performance from this event, but I've personally noticed a major shift in the last. I mean, from my perspective, it's since Hormesis and Coin Duel became a thing, but to me, there's been a major shift, almost like a second birth of a new career for you, where on the field and as far as like paying attention to players and teams and being really in tune with everything that's going on with our game plans, your input has been so incredibly valuable lately. I mean, it always has been. You're fucking Alex Fraige and such an important part of Dynasty from the very beginning, but I feel like there's been a resurgence in that, and it's been so crucial to our success, especially at this last event, obviously, of course. What do you attribute that to? You know, is it?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think I took paintball and what we had for granted for years. You know, I was going through the motions and I was just, you know, it's what I do, so I kept doing it. It's just part of me. And I didn't realize how important it was and how special it was until it was gone. And you know, the year there was no paintball, I didn't get to go do it. And then I was like, shit. You know, what if it's gone forever?
Yeah.
So yeah, it made me, you know, really reflect on that. And you know, work I've been doing as you know, in therapy, and man, my wife has been so helpful. Like she's been so supportive in me going out and doing paintball. Like she's like, yeah, get out there, go do it, you know. Welcomes me home with open arms instead of, you know, being, you know, grumpy that I left for the weekend.
It's big. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know how many guys struggle with, you know, they're going to play paintball and, you know, they're leaving their families behind. You know, I know, Tyler, you can relate to that. It's hard, you know,
quick.
There can be resentment that builds there. Right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I see guys like, I mean, they have to go, you know, work all 5 days, and then they want to go play paintball on the weekend, and then there's just no time left for the family.
Real quick, Alex, that's so big. Actually, on the show we did right before we left for the event, it was just Tyler and myself talking. I spoke on that cup is so massive, it's hilarious. It's like it's a soup cup. Anyway,
he had hot and sour soup, and then he just decided to
recycle it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I brought up the importance of when you're getting ready to leave for an event, the mental side of things is so crucial to be able to compartmentalize and get all of your ducks in a row. So the moment that you leave the event, everything is taken care of. Your family's on the same page, work, everything knows that for the next 5 days, you're going to be focused on paintball and this event with your teammates. And you can really be in the moment, in the present, and focused and dedicated. Because if once you start having these distractions, my wife's mad that I'm not here, she's not on my side with this, or I have unfinished work, or I have this problem that I haven't completed. When you have all these distractions, it's really hard to go out there and perform and be there for your team. Like that is such a big part of it, making sure that when you leave for the event, you have the support, you have everything set up so that you can be 100% there. And you've absolutely been that, especially recently. So whatever formula is going on with the family, with everything you're doing, man, it's working, and the team obviously thanks you for it. And I'm happy to see it just as a
it's
a
work.
friend
I
and
mean, it's not,
everything.
it
Yeah.
doesn't magically happen, right? You've got to be
Right.
honest with yourself and honest with your partner, and it's got to be work,
Mhm.
and then
Mhm.
you get rewarded for the work. And
Mhm.
that's what that is. And I have a very interesting story like around that, because when I got into paintball, my parents were splitting up and it was hard, and I went out to the field and found these guys that I hate to say, but became more of my family than my family. So I
Totally.
still have that in me, where I go to the paintball tournament and I feel like I'm at home
Mhm.
in a way, which is kind of a strange thing.
I think a lot
Um
of paintball players can relate to that. I
yeah,
really do.
so
I think that's what connects a lot of us.
mhm. It's a cool thing, but it's also hard too, right? Like it's not my home. My home is
Yeah.
my home with my family and my children and my wife, and that's where I belong and where I need to be. And ultimately, that's my top priority is there. But you're so right. To be able to perform at the event, you need to be able to know that it's okay that you're doing it. And maybe you miss a birthday, maybe you miss Halloween, maybe you miss something, you know. You have to know that it's okay. And if it's not okay, then it's got to be fleshed out, and then you adjust accordingly. But you're right. It's like Margaret says, hey, go out there and kick ass. You know how powerful that is. That's
Yeah.
heavy duty. you
Hell
know
yeah. Oh yeah,
yeah,
Heck
that'll
I
yeah.
mean,
that'll
what
get you
did
going.
Sarah
You
say?
know?
Yes, I mean, if Sarah says go, Tyler, go out there and bring it home, I know
Oh,
that you'll go there and rip heads off.
that's right. Yeah, and my kids too, like when Theo tells me to go get a trophy for him, man, I'm
Dude,
getting me a
booyah.
fucking
Yeah.
trophy, you know what I mean? Like I'm coming back with
For
that thing.
sure.
But yeah, and Marsh, you're absolutely right. Eggs, it's you got to be dialed in when you head into an event. You have to, and thankfully all of us here have tremendous amount of support and people that love us and cheer us on and want us to do the best. So, we're very fortunate in that regard, but there are a lot of wars being waged out there in many different ways that before you head into an event, you got to make sure you got it all dialed in properly because, it's you have to be crystal clear. You got to be making good decisions out there and you can't have any other thoughts in your mind when you're out there playing paintball. You can't be thinking about work. You can't be thinking about, what's going on at home. You got to be thinking about those guys shooting paintball pellets at you because, they're trying
And
to.
that's honestly one of the reasons I play. I mean, just because, I know that in a tournament setting, like you need to have that focus and that dedication and the planning and the, all that stuff. But
Mhm.
I'm talking about actually being in the game. If
Yeah.
you're playing a game of paintball, you have no time to think about,
No.
your dentist appointment. You have no time to think about, getting your kid to school. You have to think about, okay, how am I not going to get shot? And how am I going to
I
maybe
was
shoot that
thinking
other
about
guy?
my
Eh,
dentist appointment when
yeah.
Dalton shoulder bumped me and chipped my tooth at the event this weekend.
Oh.
He did?
Yeah,
Oh,
right before one
man.
of the matches on Sunday, I was like,
Man.
"Yeah, Dalton, let's go." I gave him a hug from behind. He like popped up. It's like, "Ooh,
Ooh.
got a little chip
It
there."
didn't actually chip it, did it?
Yeah, 100%. Tiny,
Oh,
tiny, tiny chip. You can hardly see
oh
it, but
damn.
yeah, it's there.
But
Got him
what
good.
I'm saying is, if I'm in the middle of an anxiety attack and the horn blows and it's time to play paintball, you are no longer having an anxiety attack. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
It
instantly
doesn't
in it.
get worse.
No, you're straight into the moment.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't afford not to be, or it's going to end horribly for you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely brings you straight to the moment. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a form of meditation, right? Being completely in the moment.
Hmm.
Yeah,
If you're
totally.
flying down the hill on a pair of skis, you're not gonna, you know, stop and think about, what you're going to watch on TV later.
Nope. No, you're not.
For sure.
Dude, that's
That
great.
is a great thing about sports, and paintball is one of the best sports for that, for forcing you right into the moment to where you're not thinking about anything else. You are in flow state. Your adrenaline's pumping, and like any distraction does lead to dire consequences sometimes. So it's like it's a great form of meditation. A lot of like fast paced, high action sports are like that.
Yeah, and like I appreciate like race car driving. Like you watch that on TV, you're
Yeah.
like, they're driving in a circle. Like, dude, I did this race car driving class one time. It requires so much focus mentally that you're exhausted physically afterward.
Yeah, I bet. Totally.
Yeah,
One
it's hard
mistake,
work.
and that's your life. Like that's a totally different ball game.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean, you crash, you die.
Al, Kalen is one of our PTG supporters. He had a question. We were talking about art. He's an artist as well, and he was wondering, who are some of your favorite artists?
I mean, different types of artists for different things, but like Rembrandt, probably one of my favorite classic painters, masterful portrait artist.
Mm-hmm.
I like Goldsworthy. He's a landscape and nature artist. Like he does these pieces that can like he finds like the perfect gradients of leaves and puts them together like on the water, and it just goes away after. Andy Goldsworthy, yeah, it's amazing, amazing artist. Check him out. Who else do I love? I do like Mondrian for like kind of an abstract artist, and of course Salvador Dali and the Surrealists, Magritte.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I have just a tremendous appreciation for art, and I did go to Florence before COVID and got to go to the Uffizi and see like all those beautiful Renaissance paintings, and that's quite an amazing thing to see. The passion and the power and the amount of time those guys would put in. I mean, there was nothing else to do. It was like you survive and then you paint, right? And they contract
Yeah,
the church would contract you to paint a picture, and they'd give you 10 years. It's like that's your job.
that's
Of
crazy.
course,
That is so wild.
Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, the
Yeah.
masters, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, just I have a appreciation just across the board for people that are passionate. And actually, like Marcus, that's funny you say that. So Marcus,
Mm.
he wasn't like a traditional artist, but I was doing like a lot of resin painting, and he came up to visit me one time, and we went to the beach and found an old piece of driftwood and brought it back to my shop, and started pouring resin all over it and coloring it, and we're like, dude, we're gonna make a lamp out of this thing. It's badass. And it's right here. I'll show you.
That's awesome.
It's right here.
Yeah.
It's right here. It's a huge piece of driftwood.
So
And it's got like this huge vein of resin that goes down it, and like got these beautiful colors. And I've got a really cool picture of him actually, like making it with this blowtorch. It's really heavy, but I was thinking of making like an iron stand for it and putting a light at the top and like a kind of a memorial for him.
You have to, of course.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And
So
I
for the
got a
YouTubers,
picture of him actually working on it.
Yeah, all the listeners, head over to the YouTube channel. We're about an hour and 15 minutes in, and you should be able to see what Alex is talking about. It's a beautiful piece right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, I'll give you a closer look. Let me move my computer.
There we go.
Can
we got to bring that to life immediately. Yeah.
So it almost looks like
wow,
water, like an ocean there. I got to polish it out so it's like really crystal, but it goes all the way down. It's got these beautiful colors, and it's on the back too.
That is rad.
Yeah, I mean, like Marcus, not a painter, but
he's an artist.
He's like, yeah, let me see that. Let me try that.
Yeah.
Give me that thing. I want to try that paintbrush.
Yeah.
So that's just that
I miss him so much,
brave person. Me too. Yeah,
he is the best. He'll always be the best, Marcus, in the sky. And I see him all the time in the clouds. That was his thing, is the clouds, and it hits me. It's like hits me square in the heart every time I see a cloud. Just about. Also, who was your first confirmed pro elimination? Who did you get out first? Do you remember who it was?
In a match, in a game,
in a tournament, yeah.
In a tournament. Man, so I know we played 1998 World Cup. We played. That was my first tournament where we played pros. Not sure if I shot a pro. I think we played Image and I shot somebody, but I don't know who it was.
That's Image at that time.
Yeah, but we lost the game horribly.
Yeah.
I think I might have shot someone, but I know we played Image again when I was on the Diggers the next year in 1999, and I shot 2 guys, and we almost won the game. And I was coming back. I had the back door on this woods field in Vegas, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's over, right? I'm about to go dice these guys, and I'm coming back, right, and I'm almost to their flag station, and then I get lit up, and it's Opie Thomas, and I'm walking off the field, and he goes, "Patience is a virtue. That's why you're walking and I'm talking." and
that's gonna be my new pickup line.
But the dude is like back, like he was hiding in the flag station. Like, dude, you're a pro, man. You're supposed to be in the mix.
Yeah.
But he saved the game for him. And then
Yeah.
he got our back door because I was the last guy in that tape.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
So yeah,
Opie. It's a good
I don't
lesson
remember
to learn,
exactly
man.
who it was, but yeah, I think it might have been in that Image game in '98.
That's awesome. We have a bunch of questions from our Discord chat community. Shout out to the PTG fam. We'll probably dive into these a little bit more, but I'm sure, Marsh, did you have a segment that you wanted to get into with maybe talking about Field One or anything like that?
Well, Alex, I would actually like to, if there's anything we want to talk about as far as Dynasty, there's a lot of really exciting stuff going on there. What you guys have been doing.
First thing is, like, I'm super stoked that you guys are partners in it. And really that's, one of the things that I feel like we started the team where everyone was partners, right? And eventually we, guys left the team and they wanted to get bought out, and, it got whittled down from whatever it was, 13 people to start, or 9 people or something. And it ended up just being me, Yoshi, and Ryan. And we, end of last year, we got together and we're like, hey man, maybe we should, kind of start positioning this like we used to have it, where it was like, you're in the team and you're part of the team and you're part owner on the team. And, if you leave the team, then you're not an owner anymore. That's kind of the way it was. Or you can retain your ownership as long as you're not competing against us. So, hey guys, I'm on an interview.
Who is that?
It's Wayne Train.
There you go.
Wayne Black. I don't know. You guys probably know him.
Shout out to Wayne.
Yeah, he's a NorCal faithful. One of the kings of the game for sure. Played on Lofty back in the day with us. So one of my boys. Anyway, I think that's,
we have a question about that too, by the way, actually. Shout out to Iconic Paintball and Quinn Nadeau, everything he's doing. Absolutely fantastic. Play the Game is partnered with them, actually, and we're going to be asking each guest a Iconic Paintball question every episode, which is fantastic.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're actually we're working on something. Hormesis is working on something with him too, and he's been really helpful. He wrote all the profiles for our Coin Duel page. Beautiful article about Marcus. Go check out the Iconic Paintball website. There's a lot of good content on there, and really thoughtful. It's I would say it's a website dedicated to pros, right? Like I want to go there and read the content on there because it's interesting to me, and I'm involved intimately with the stuff he's talking about.
Totally agree.
So, and he's got a real perspective. I mean, he's in the trenches, he's at the tournaments, he's talking to the pros. So shout out to Quinn and Iconic Paintball. Go check it out. Good stuff. And
is it just iconicpaintball.com, correct?
Yeah, that's it. Iconicpaintball.com.
Yeah.
And he's got some cool things. I've talked to him. He's got some cool things in the works. And I think that, hopefully the community can support him and make it a cool thing. Cause I think he's got some really fun, unique ideas that, could make what we're doing, have it be acknowledged and also, I feel like it makes it cool.
Oh yeah, totally. we need him, and he's doing tremendous amount of work in the paintball landscape right now. It's awesome. I actually just did an interview for him as well that should be coming out pretty shortly here, just about like the whole 14-year-old pro story type thing, and then looking back on it after almost 20 years and kind of giving some perspective on all that.
Yeah, I mean, you have a crazy story, man. I mean, you should get interviewed for sure. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, you're like, there's a group of guys that I feel like I call them honorary Iron Kids, right? Like Marcella's one, you're one, Kyle's one. There's the handful of guys that that I feel like, Kenny Clamper, Dalton, Marcus, guys that were never on the Iron Kids, but kind of had that same path. And there's tons of them out there, just the ones that I know. And yeah, I feel that your story is one that needs to be told. It's just a little bit early to tell it because you're still right in the middle.
Yeah. When is that movie coming out? The Iron Kids.
So we're like kind of in pre-production right now. And really we don't have a release date, but our goal is, to make it really good.
Yeah.
So, we don't have a timeline. We're going to make it, and we're not promising any, release date or anything. We're just going to do our best to make the best show we can and then, let people watch it.
That's
so
it.
excited for that, dude. Netflix is going to eat it up. I'm telling you, that is going to be on Netflix.
We'll see.
That is going to be so good, man.
We have a good story. So
yeah,
I feel like, and it happened so long ago, a lot of people don't really know it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You were getting into something before.
It was the Dynasty stuff. So I'm stoked to have you guys involved, and I feel like we're gonna be able to do some things to mix it up and make the team more relevant and keep it relevant. So one of those things is a project we're working on with Hormesis and Dynasty collab, which we weren't planning on releasing till next year, but because Dynasty won the tournament, I'm going to throw 5 headbands out to the play the game community, and they're limited Dynasty headbands. They're pretty dope. If you go to the YouTube, you can check them out. They have a Dynasty pattern with waves and dragon heads, and then the Hormesis tag, but with a Dynasty logo. So I'm going to drop you guys 5 of those for 5 lucky play the game supporters. So you guys can dish those out however you want, and there'll be more to come if Dynasty wins World Cup. So,
man, now that's amazing, dude. Holy smokes!
That's a Dynasty victory kickdown for the peeps. So those headbands are limited, and they're going to be a part of a project that we're up to right now. That's hopefully going to be kind of a fun and interesting shakeup.
Dude, the Hormesis God himself has blessed the PTG world. Wow.
Dude, I love you guys, man. Come on.
That's tremendous. The community is going to lose their shit over that. They're going to be going crazy. That is amazing. Thank you so much.
So whenever you're ready, just send me the addresses and I'll ship them out.
Alex, we have a whole thread. It's a gear talk in our Discord, and Hormesis is like the number one topic throughout everything. They're going to go crazy over this. They're going to love these headbands.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, dude.
That's crazy. And I mean, you're styling over here. Let's talk about your shirt, bro. Look at this.
Yeah, thing. Oliver just whips these little guys up. It's actually pretty cool how they make these. It's called batik stamping. So the same with the one Marcelo is wearing. So what they do is they make a wax stamp by hand, like it's made out of copper, and then they dip it in wax and then stamp it on the fabric a bunch of times, and then they dye the shirt, and then they melt the wax off, so it leaves that pattern. And if you notice, if you look at each Hormesis, they're all a little bit different because the wax doesn't cover the same way every time. So it's the same way with this pattern. Like somebody sits there and puts wax on the shirt, and very carefully.
It's literally handmade.
Yeah. That's the same way. Dude. That's the same way these are made too. So if you go on the Hormesis website, there's a little video that kind of shows the place we make them, and it's very old world. Literally, they have indigo trees out in the back, and they go and they chop off the branches, and the branches grow back. So the tree keeps giving the leaves, right? They don't have to cut down the whole tree.
It is literally like Louis Vuitton or Burberry of paintball. I keep saying this to you because I mean it wholeheartedly. It's become high fashion. And the process you're explaining is so cool, and much of Louis Vuitton when they first started, and these fashion.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that you just couldn't do in the States, really.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it would be far too expensive, and also the knowledge and the artesian nature of it, you just have to have the old world.
Yeah.
You had to have learned it from your grandfather how to fold the little thing. I have one. Hold on, I'm gonna go grab it real quick. One second.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, he's breaking it all down here, man. That's
crazy. Hold on real quick. Look at the shirt that was sitting behind him this entire time, this Iron Kids Hormesis shirt.
So this one they made backwards, so Oliver sent it to me. So somebody sat there and bent this, out of copper in my hand, right? And made the shape, right? So then they wax it and stamp it.
That's tremendous.
This one they made backwards, so they had to make it again.
Unreal.
So for the YouTubers, you can see the actual stamp that Alex is holding up here, and that's what they are stamping on to the fabric, and then they melt the wax off after they dye it, and that's what leaves the the pattern there. That's pretty crazy.
It's not dissimilar to how they anodize paintball guns. Like that's kind of like the same type of process where they mask it and then color it. But yeah, so it is a cool process, and
Are we going to see more Hormesis Dynasty collaborations? Is that going to be something that we can look forward to in the future?
I don't know. I mean, this one is going to be part of a project we're like kind of the first project we're working on. It's not a sponsorship. It's just, it's like a kind of a limited release of items that it's going to be available through an outlet that we're creating with the team. So kind of a, the thrust is provide something cool and unique to the Dynasty supporters and also maybe generate a little revenue for the team so we can go out and pay you so we can get you back.
Oh my God, Al. Dude, you guys are crushing it, man. And this is just one aspect. Field One is a whole nother ball of wax. Go figure. We're talking, the wax that you guys are molding over there. I would love to dive into that a little bit and talk about Field One and what you guys got cooking. If you guys have new ideas for guns or anything like that moving into the future, or what we can expect to see from Field One.
Yeah, so we're, again, our whole thrust with Field One is create something that we want to use. And, we're really happy with the Force, and, we're making some small improvements to it, and we'll probably do another release of that gun. And we're working on, some other different platforms, but nothing in the near future. We're just doing our best to improve and support the forces that are out there. And we're small, it's just me, Yosh, and Eric over here, putting in screws and making sure everything works. So I think we're kind of we're not trying to go and even though we do have a working product and people like it, we're still not going to send it to China and just have them deliver the boxes, and hope they're right. Like, we're still going to do it slow and right. That's our thing right now. So
yeah.
And it's okay that we're moving slow. But I feel like we're doing it the right way. So that's the story with Field One right now. And we do have some exciting stuff coming down the pipe, and look for us being out there. But I mean, the guns are tested and proven in battle. So, you can't really ask for more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like we said, our number one thing, right, is we want to be able to shoot brittle paint. So that was our number one design feature, and I feel like we accomplished that. I mean, we're able to shoot some really brittle paint, and that's the razor's edge stuff we're talking about winning and losing tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of our PTG fan was wondering, do you guys got a pop-it valve ever going to come out possibly?
Yeah, we will make another pop-it valve. Yes.
Nice. Awesome.
That'll be epic.
Yeah.
A lot of people want that. A lot of people, that's one of the number one things that I get asked. It's so funny. I mean, obviously, when we announced the Dynasty deal, Alex, so many people message and we're like, so does this mean you own part of Field One? I'm like, no, they're two separate things. That was number one question. Number two is Field One going to make a pop-it gun?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. This is not a question for me.
We will make a pop-it gun at some point. And we do have some thoughts and some ideas there, and we want to make it good.
Absolutely. Cool. That's the cornerstone, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be good. And again, like you said, something that we can use. Field One has won 2 of the last 4 events. It's pretty good.
Yeah, amazing. The guns work.
It's pretty good. They definitely work, man. Yeah, absolutely. Alex, we have a listener. You actually know him indirectly. You haven't talked to him in person, but he's the guy who made the jersey for you, Steve.
I have the jersey right over there.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He wants to call in.
Gator Gang,
exactly. He wants to call in and ask you a question.
Let's do it.
All right.
Steve, shout out to Steve. Shout out to the GOAT fam. Let's go,
Goats.
On
the line here. Absolutely.
I got my GOAT shirt on for the YouTubers. We have like this GOAT merch. If you become a GOAT,
no, it's rad.
You guys,
whoever designed it did a good job. I like the colors too.
Actually, you're going to talk to him.
All right. Stevie, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Steve?
Let me figure this out real quick. We're gonna push the talk. But what's up, guys?
Yo. What up, Steve?
Young
Hey, Steve.
Stevie. We have Alex Fraige here on the line.
Thanks for the jersey. You're a king. I tried to wear it at practice.
Alex, what's going on?
And they're like, "It's not an HK. You can't wear it." I was like, "I don't care. Let me live."
No, listen. I love it. Marcelo even told me he's not going to wear it because it's not HK. I was like, I don't care. I just want him to have it.
Hey,
that's what I said too. I was like, "Dude, I'm wearing it." Like, no, they made me not wear it. So just so you know,
yeah, it's okay.
There's a little conflict.
You can blame them all day.
Hey, Steve, I sleep in it at night. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oh, listen, yeah.
I put it on my wife. It's on. She's like, "You got the Gator Gang shirt on." It's on.
Going down.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Thank you for that.
Well,
man.
listen,
that's awesome.
Well, Alex, dude, you were amazing to me. Not only did you help me through Marcelo, but then at Philly, I don't know if you remember, but you just took a band off your head and tossed it to me. And, that was just unreal. So, thank you.
That's awesome, man. Well, it's great to know that that the generosity's out there, and we're all part of the same big ball of wax. So may as well be nice to each other.
Hell yeah. So what are you guys talking about? I figure I have a couple of questions, but I don't know where you're at in your combo.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we went through the whole thing, the MVP performance, Dynasty, Hormesis. We've kind of touched base and caught up on a lot of different things.
Hell yeah. There was one point you guys were playing NRG. Alex, I'm sure you remember. You shot 3 people within 3 seconds. And it was the third one was one ball. It was the fastest shot I've ever seen. Where are you? You're in their snake 3, and you shoot the guy that pops over the snake 1. It was an unbelievable shot. So you talk about being an MVP, absolutely start to finish.
That's called a whip shot.
The whip.
Yeah, well, you whip shot him right in the face.
Yeah. So usually I'm on the receiving end of the whip shot, but that one was lucky I got one on him. Man, I got whip shots so bad by Dylan Boyum in practice. I got to that. He was in the can that you played, Marcelo, and I got to the second Dorito, and I'm like, oh yeah, you were behind me, and and I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to ring this guy up, and I roll out, and he's completely wrapped around, and I have his whole body, and I start shooting, and I miss him completely, and he sees me out of the corner of his eye and just shoots one ball while tucking in, and just whip shot me, and I want to throw my gun, man. I was walking to the sun, felt so stupid.
That's how it happened.
The whip shot.
But
so yeah.
Yeah. I guess for my question, man, you said it yourself. You used the word generosity, and that's funny because that was in my actual question that I sent to Marcelo. But you and Oliver, your generosity in sharing yourselves and your brand back with the community and spreading all that positivity. I guess for everybody to just say kind of thank you because I don't want to put it on everybody in the community to be like, oh, paintball is so negative, but just the positivity that you guys promote, I think was needed. And it really helps push paintball forward. So with Hormesis, I guess the question would be, what made you guys launch it now? And how long did you work on it before it was ready to go? Was it a snap decision? Was it a long planning process? How did it all come together?
So the very first phone call I think about it was in July of 2020, right in the middle of COVID. And then he made the headbands, and then I put some packaging together, and we're like, yeah, maybe we'll sell a couple hundred of these, and no one's gonna pay $85 for a headband. That's crazy. And then we had a product in December, and we gave them to I gave them to some of the team guys at World Cup, which I didn't go to, but a few of the guys wore them out there, and we made some for Tim Montrosser, and we just gave those to his best friends, just as a gift, right? That was the first one. Yeah. That was a gift. We said, Tim passed away. We want to give something to Ryan Moorhead and Chad and Jason Trozen and Russell and the guys that were his boys, because I couldn't imagine losing Ryan or Oliver or Yosh in that way. That's what that was. And we're okay, we're going to make something just for, and that was kind of the first gift, right, to those guys. And, I wouldn't say we really had aspirations to become a big paintball company, and we still don't. We're just, looking at it as, kind of a fun art project, and paying homage to the things that mattered to us and impacted us in in our journey. And that kind of idea, I feel like has rubbed off in a positive way, right? Somebody did something along the way to help you, acknowledge that. And that feels good. I mean, it feels better to give somebody a headband as a gift and say, hey man, you meant something to me. You mean something to me, and here's why. And it then to sell a headband and make $100, to me at least.
Mm-hmm.
So
hey, that resonates with me. I actually, dude, my Hormesis order page is like 3 pages long, and I think I only own 5 of them. I've given every single person on my team a headband as like a gift, specifically for that aspect. Like, it was so hype, everybody loved it so much, and I got pretty good at getting them on the website. So I was like, I'm going to make sure that everybody that I care about has a band on their head.
Yeah, and it feels better to give it than receive it, right? Just like Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
You feel better 100%. Sometimes giving it than
Yeah, the look on their face when you you give them their crown, they're just so hype about it. Like our team photographer, I got him one of the media bands, and it was just unreal. Like the fact that you guys create such a great product and it has such great positivity attached to it. Like I said, it's just right place, right time.
Thanks, Steve. That means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And then, Marcel, is it cool if I ask another question?
Yeah, 100%. That second one you had in there was really good. So yeah, let's dive into that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, is Ty even out there? I'm so sorry, I haven't even mentioned you once, bro. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I greeted you when you came on the show, but yeah, I'm definitely on my show right now for sure.
Listen, it's hard. I didn't hear you. It's hard enough to talk to 2 legends, and then Stevie, you throw the third one.
Stevie is part of the algorithm. He's typically the PTG
I like
bot,
how he checked in with you there, though. Huh.
The PTG bot. All right, I'll just hang up now.
He made sure to check in with Marcelo, though. He said, "Hey,
well,
Marcelo,
I did call him. I was the one that called him.
He puts all the pressure on me, Ty. That's why.
Okay.
So Alex, so we got Hormesis, but Field One. So I always talk about people like this. I love my force. I shoot one as like my main marker, but on paper, a lot of people point out like the force doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, and I always tell people like, hey, like you need to actually take it on the field and shoot it, and then you'll understand why it's a great marker. Like it's just a player's gun, is what I call it, and how I explain it to people. But what kind of thought process goes into like what features you're going to put into a marker, what features you're not going to put in, like magnetic eye covers or like Bluetooth connections to hoppers? Where do you guys draw the line? How does that decision process really formulate? And then what is maybe one feature that's not in the force now that you would like to see, in a second iteration or some kind of update later on?
So yeah, our main thrust, it was obviously building something we wanted to use, and the little like bells and whistles don't matter in a tournament, right? Like if you have a 4-color LED screen that talks to you, doesn't matter when you need to shoot the most brittle paint to get the guy to get it to break on the guy, right? So our features were let it be able to handle brittle paint. So breach geometry, the way the bolt strikes the ball, those were the things that we really focused on. And
when that sexy, voice or that you could say it gets me fired up. I'm not gonna lie. Let's go.
Yeah, well, it's not as attractive as the guy screaming when you bunker him. But I will say, people are like, yeah, it's too heavy. What I say is, if Alex Fraige can lift it up, so can you. But
time out.
And then the next thing about it is we wanted to make it
work out.
not have to be maintenance a lot. You don't really have to grease these guns. I mean, the gun I'm using right now, I have not greased it since the last tournament, Philadelphia. So I went through 2 practices, Philadelphia, 2 more practices, then this tournament, and I haven't opened up the engine yet. So there's this preconceived notion, because it's a spool valve gun, you need to like constantly lube it, because historically, that O-ring of that sail O-ring gets dry and then can cause like a first shot drop off situation. We use U-cups that are a dynamic seal, or for our dynamic seals, which are much more expensive and kind of a pain to put in, but I've never changed one yet on any gun. So, unless there's like a catastrophic, like a leak or something, that it was a bad thing going into the gun. Right. But, you really, and because we're making them, I like to shoot mine until it fails, just to see as a test. Right. So that's what I do. Right. I shoot it till the batteries die. I shoot it till it starts getting, having a problem. So yeah, I mean, and being able to handle brittle paint is what matters in a tournament. I mean, if you were to tell me, okay, you can either have the best looking gun and it's going to shoot fastest and be the most efficient and be the lightest, but you're going to break 5 balls a day, or you can shoot this gun over here that's going to break 0 paintballs a day. You're going to be able to shoot the most brittle paint, but it's going to be, heavy and ugly, and it's not going to have, it's not going to shoot as fast, whatever it is. I mean, I know that's all standardized now, but I would take that gun that's not going to break a ball every time. Because if you break a ball in a critical moment, it's over.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're preaching to the choir with me. I think it's good to hear it from you directly. But dude, on the field, oh, that thing's so heavy, or oh, you have to use the Allen key to take off the eye covers, and I'm just like, what? Like none of that matters to me. Like when you fill up whatever gun, with air, you put air in your tank, you put paint in the hopper, like it's all the same weight to me.
Yeah, you don't need to take off your eye covers if you don't break paint. But hey, we are working on some toolless eye covers and some things to kind of catch us up to, the like Eclipse and Lux, which are both great guns. It's really, at the top end there, it's a lot of preference, how you like the feel of which one, and we appreciate that, and we built one that we wanted to use.
And the Lux is a great marker. Like the Lux is my backup, so shout out to Houston Heat and Ty over there. I don't want to leave you out too much. I've already done terrible things.
Yeah, and we shot Shockers and Luxes for years. Great gun.
Yeah. No, hey, listen, that's awesome to hear, and I really appreciate you answering my questions directly from me. Thanks, Marcel and Ty, for giving me the opportunity.
All day, dude.
Yeah, that's everything I've got.
Of course. Shout out to the GOAT
community. And great design chops over there. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, dude, Alex, of course. Unbelievable. Like when I saw that picture, I was so hyped. Marcel was like, "Don't you dare post this anywhere." I was like, I won't put it out anywhere, I promise. It's just for me.
Dude, I want to know what you do with that picture, Steve.
I showed my friends.
It's in my office.
Nice.
We appreciate you so much, Steve, and shout out to all the GOATs out there. Thank you for everything that you do for the paintball community as well, Steve. You're a pioneer, bro. We appreciate you.
Thank you, bro. Have a great night, guys.
Thanks, brother.
Later.
You
too.
Peace. Young Stevie.
Nice. Shout out to Young Stevie.
And when just quickly, when it comes to shout outs and paintball companies, I just obviously HK buy HK. Those guys are the best. They have been supporting us for a long time, and we've been ripping it in the best gear. And Tyler, you guys are looking sharp just like us. Obviously Field One, Carbon, shout out for the Golden Barrel, NXL and Go Sports doing a great job. But I really want to focus on the guys like you guys and the guys like Nico that have their own little thing going and come up with an idea and make something. And a lot of them are players or pros or not pros or whatever, but they care, right? Mm-hmm. They're doing it because they love it and they care. You got Tank Dangle guy, like I mean,
totally.
He's great, and Randall is his name, and it's
Randall.
a cool idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's an interesting, neat thing, right? Like I'm like about that, right? So Island Designs for supporting the boys. Tiger Wear, it's Kyle's new thing coming out. Like just cool things that the guys that are in the trenches are making. So support those guys.
Absolutely.
Enjoy paintball. What a cool name.
Enjoy
100%.
paintball. Yeah, I know. Nico's the man.
He is.
play the game and enjoy paintball.
That's it.
Right. No, it's absolutely fantastic. Al, we kind of touch on something that leads into a really funny question from one of our OG goats, Chris Tucker. He's been in the Discord for a long time, but he wants to know if you're happy that you proved you don't have to work out to play paintball. You fucking got us, dude. You finally got us.
No, well, you being in shape doesn't hurt. I mean, look, the best way to get in shape for paintball is to play paintball. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I had, 6 really good days of playing paintball before the tournament. And you can work out all you want. That's not going to hurt you, but really, I think you've got to be in paintball shape, those paintball muscles, and you can do all the drills you want in the gym, but you do need to have that paintball
physicality,
parts of your body working.
Yeah, it's totally different. It's like you're right. You can do so much exercising in the gym and all these different routines and workouts, but you go and play a paintball match and it's just a different ball game.
And the mental part of it is a lot of that. I mean, you're mentally exhausted. Yeah. And that takes that takes away from, that wears on you physically. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And screaming and yelling and trying to communicate and worrying about where the guy is and all that stuff. It's all energy out. For sure. And but I mean, look, I didn't prove anything. Working out, it helps. All right.
Damn. All right. There we go.
It helps.
Well, I know. I'm like sure that you hit the bike and you do your form of workouts as well. It might not be going to the gym, but I know that you work out as well too, Eggs.
Yeah, I get my my steps in.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Nice.
Absolutely. All right, we got another one here. What are your thoughts on leagues working with existing fields to host future NXL events and become home fields for pro teams in those regions? And I have another question after you answer that.
So like regional tournaments?
Yeah. So they're talking about, the NXL is talking about, having certain amount of fields around the country that are like fields that host these big events and kind of pouring, more love, let's say, into those existing infrastructures and building those out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like that because it kind of, they had one in Sacramento over here and it felt like more lighthearted, than an NXL tournament. Like you had, Impact played it, but then you had a couple mashup teams, you had Excessive in there, it was kind of a nice vibe. And it reminded me of like, a local tournament where instead of like, having this NXL thing. And also the cool thing about it is there's a mix up between the different divisions. Because when we go now, we're like on the one side of the venue, and then everybody else is on the other side of the venue. You go all weekend without seeing anybody from the divisional thing, which is one thing I feel like we're missing from back in the day, is that you get to play. You used to get to play a couple of pro teams if you're an amateur. Right. Yeah. So you go to the tournament, you play 2 pros, 2 amateur A's, and then, 2 amateur B's or whatever. And that was the prelims, but you got your crack at a pro, and that's one of the things like that kind of inspired the coin duel, is like, I want to be able to bond bridge that gap again. I want some kid to come up to Tyler Harmon and be like, hey man, play me in a one-on-one. And then you meet the kid, either way, like you win, the kid's happy he got to play you. The kid beats you, you're pissed or whatever, but you're probably become his favorite player because he's like, dude, I beat Tyler Harmon, here's his coin. Yeah. And if you're gracious about it, everyone watching is like, wow, Tyler's the man,
You win no matter what on that, essentially. Because
I mean,
you're changing lives, like I've heard you talk about it as well. And it's absolutely true. Yeah. If I'm supposed to win. If I lose, dude, that is rad that you just beat me. And that is going to propel your paintball life in a whole new direction because
I mean, you maybe made some person's career.
Totally. Right? I know that.
Or gave them the passion to come play paintball again next weekend.
Well, here's the thing, Alex. I played Oliver when I was like 11 years old in Modesto, and I beat him in a one-on-one. I challenged Oliver to a one-on-one, and I beat him. And as if I could fucking beat him, I could beat anybody. And then
look at you now, dude. You can't beat anybody. You do beat anybody.
I was like, dude.
You beat anybody and his friend.
So it does. It changed my life, a firsthand experience there, and you're paying that forward, and it's a beautiful thing, man. It's cool to see.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm all about those events.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you get the nickname Eggs?
So Marcus Nielsen gave me that name. So it's actually in the article by Quinn on Iconic Paintball about Marcus.
Yep.
And we had a long night of drinking, and it wasn't like, I don't think it was a practice weekend, but we played paintball every weekend anyway. And we were like, we're going to play tomorrow. Yeah, who's coming? Who's coming? Like, we'd all say that at like 2 a.m. And then, obviously 9 o'clock would roll around and be like, I'm not going. I need a burrito. And so this one morning, I didn't go, but Oliver and Marcus did, and they were like horribly hungover. Like, how you're in that state when you're hungover, where you're just like can't think, but like everything is funny because you're in so much pain. So there was a sign on the way to Velocity Paintball Field that said "Fresh Eggs" because they sold fresh eggs there, and they were talking to me on the phone, and I remember they were like eating Subway sandwiches because they were going pepperoncinis, pepperoncinis, peppers and chinis, and they're like doing this wordplay, right? So then Marcus is like fresh eggs. Frazee, fresh eggs, fresh eggy, like,
Yeah,
that's where it came from, because my last name kind of sounds like the fresh egg sign.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, I always thought it was like a tribute to like scrambled eggs or something, like just throwing you through the center, because I know it was an iconic movie.
So scrambled eggs came after the fresh eggs.
Okay, yeah, right.
But so the sign I'm talking about on the way to Velocity, there was 100%. Like, yeah, it's like right before that left turn. And there's the sign that says fresh eggs right there. Yeah. And it used to they changed it. It used to have like a cute chicken on it, and now it just says fresh eggs.
Dude,
I love driving out to Velocity. That's an amazing drive. To this day, it's just beautiful. It's a cool drive.
Mm-hmm. All right, Welshie has one. Looking at the league as a whole, a lot of the top stars were once a part of Dynasty or currently with it. What makes the camp organization have such a great place to develop talent, would you say?
I think, the knowledge that we've acquired over so long, and our willingness to share that. And, whether it benefits our team or benefits a player, I feel like, that's, a lot sometimes, why people come is to play with us. I mean, look at a guy like Mike Arena. Like, he could have just faded into obscurity, if DMG folded or he just got tired of it or whatever. But, there are players that if you nurture them and surround them with good players that believe in them and they have the willingness to do it, there's a lot of players out there that could be really good. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, what we can bring. Like, I know when I see a certain guy, like Scott Kemp, for example. Scott Kemp was a good player, but, not an elite player. But I looked at him, I watched how he played for that last year he was on the Ironman, and I know he retired, I think, for maybe a year in between or 2 years even, but I was like, that guy is going to be good on our team.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's intelligent, he cares, he wants to be in it, and he has that drive to, that kind of FU type of thing that even once you get on, because we've had guys that are great players that they get on Dynasty, already established guys, right? They get on Dynasty and they feel like, oh, I've made it. The team's just going to win for me. That's not the attitude, right? You need to come on the team and be like, I'm going to push somebody else out. I'm going to learn and I'm going to take the information and I'm going to become better than Oliver, right? That's you got to have that attitude also. And then the willingness to accept criticism and drink up the knowledge.
Absolutely. Which is, it's hard in any aspect in business, life, relationships. Criticism is hard to, and the best advice, I guess, is just to not say anything and be grateful that you're getting the wisdom and try and implement a system into developing it, right?
For sure. And there's guys like that, like Blake, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he came in and I mean, you witnessed that. He came in and like, was super raw, but he wasn't a yeah, but guy. He didn't go, oh, yeah, we lost, or this happened, or, yeah, but I shot 2 guys last game.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't say stuff like that. He's like, how can I improve?
Yeah.
In an open-hearted way, and we're brutal, man. I mean, getting judged by Ryan on like, okay, you didn't know the guy was there. Well, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like
mm-hmm.
It's like critical. But on the other hand, Ryan is just as critical on himself, if not more critical, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you hold yourself to higher standards than you hold other people to, and when you do that, you're able to lead by example, and people are able to take what you say without it's not hollow.
Yeah.
Alex, that leads into this is a great question to kind of touch on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's from our man OJ, but it's how exactly do you go about educating the new players and building their paintball IQ? Because there is a delicate balance in that. Ryan has his way. Sometimes I have my way. You have your way. Everyone has their way. What do you think is the most effective way?
Well, I mean, I think it has to come from within the person, right? And the willingness to push their boundaries, and then when you're at that point where you're able to, do things that are uncomfortable to you, then you can be molded into a great player.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, the best way to do that really depends on the individual. But I have my way, and my way is like, it's changed. I used to be very critical and very assertive and abrasive about it. But now I'm not like that anymore. Now I feel like more of a, okay, maybe do it this way next time. And honestly, I've kind of lost my drive to really push a player in that way. I'm not saying it's not effective. I'm just saying, I'm not that type of teacher anymore. Now I just say, hey, maybe do it this way next time.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Was that Alex Harlington was wondering what was one of the deciding factors? I know you guys didn't bring Grayson to the last event in not having him as a part of the organization anymore.
That's true.
Yeah.
What's up, Alex? Shout out to you. I know you're a Hormesis supporter. I see your name pop up on there a lot. So
Yeah.
big ups. Yeah. So Grayson, kind of an interesting story. I mean, we had a lot of guys hurt. The circumstances that we picked him up under were kind of precarious. We had a depleted roster, and basically we needed a warm body. And he was an experienced guy. He was local. He was willing. Had a good attitude. Came out, played great against Impact in the practice that we had. And we're like, damn, this guy, he's legit. And had a pretty good tournament. Got in the mix a couple times, and he played 2 tournaments with us, right? Yeah, he played 2 tournaments with us. But he's been established, and I feel like not an easy player to mold, right? Like he was going to be the player that we picked up originally, and it's a guy that I feel like you're not going to put him in there ahead of Dalton. It's a guy that's going to be a sort of a like a bench guy, right? And I feel like if we want a bench guy, we want a bench guy that's going to be pushing his way to be a starter. And I don't feel like Grayson was that guy.
Interesting.
Nothing to do with his personality. Really didn't have anything to do with his play either, because he's a good player. More about just the overarching position on the overarching direction of the team.
Yeah, I saw him in Chicago when I was heading out, and I was just like, yeah, man, you gotta, essentially what we're talking about. I was like, at the end of the day, out there on the field, you just got to get it done, like, and then if you don't get it done, don't say anything, just like legitimately try your hardest to comprehend what's going on without having to dig too deep in any direction, and try to put it together on your own terms. Obviously ask for advice, but sometimes when you beat the drum too much, it's just too much. We just need to get it done, and that's all there is to it. So I know he'll be coming back, and he'll be chomping at the bit to make pushes.
Yeah, and he was out there helping us in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Grayson. He's a great player, and he's a really good guy. So if he could play, he's a professional caliber player. That's for sure.
Absolutely, yeah, he can ball, and he's right there. It's just it's sticking with it and jumping those hurdles. He's got a couple hurdles to jump, and then who knows, he could be one of the best in the world. It's just putting the pieces together there.
Yeah, and he's a really nice kid too. So shout out to Grayson if you're listening.
Shout out to Grayson.
Shout out to Grayson.
Dynasty House, crazy story. What do we got? What's a great crazy story from the OG Dynasty house?
I mean, it's basically the third ring of hell. You can read Genesis and or go look at Hieronymus Bosch, another great painter. The right hand side of the Garden of Earthly Delights is actually a portrait of the paintball house. So I mean, a lot of debauchery there. One time we I don't know who lit the couch on fire, but there was a couch outside, and there was this couch like got lit on fire, and it got out of control. We all ran, and the only one that stayed there was Ryan. And the cops and fire department came busting in to put this couch fire out. And Ryan thought he was gonna get arrested, and the cops were just like, "Hey, welcome back to school, boys!" Like, SDSU, just like mayhem.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of debauchery that went on there. Fun times.
Dude, that is funny.
So I think we're pretty much through the Discord questions. I have now possibly the most important question in the show, our iconic question from Quinn Nadeau. Right? It's fantastic. Really excited we're going to be able to have this segment on each episode and tie in with what Quinn's doing. But the iconic question for this PTG episode is going to be, you started your competitive paintball career with homegrown teams like the Monkeys and Lofty with Oliver Lang, Yosh Rao, and Ryan Greenspan. Was there a point during this early portion of your career where you knew something special with these teams and a potential career in this game with your best friends was about to happen?
The answer to that is not at all, because I didn't even know that pro paintball existed. We were just out there having fun when we all met each other. It's like we weren't. I mean, there was no aspiration to like go be a pro paintball player. So Eric Crandall, who owned the paintball field or ran the paintball field, and he was also coincidentally my little sister's softball coach. Was like, hey, there's a tournament, you should come play. So I like got my dad and Oliver. I mean, we were straight newbies, right? And like we like had just bought our stuff like the weekend before. Like we were barely self-equipped. And I think Murray, who was my buddy, actually played with a rental gun in the tournament of EM68. So we played this tournament. We got slaughtered. We got like the sportsmanship award, which is like, you suck basically. But it was free entry to the next tournament.
Thanks for
coming. Yeah, thanks for coming, and you can come back because here's free entry to the next tournament, right? So then we started building the team, right? We're like, all right, we got to play the next tournament. Like this is for real now. So and then I think I cut Oliver in between the first and second tournament.
No way.
Yeah. And then he played with his team Positive Impact, and he's had a chip on his shoulder ever since. But it's because of his attitude. It wasn't because of his playing. He's a good player. I mean, whatever. He was all high on his horse, dude. He was like a great skateboarder, right? So everyone in the skate community was like, they loved him. So he was used to just being worshipped by the local, but I wasn't having it.
Yeah, look at him now.
Oh, that's crazy. That's just so crazy. I did not know that. Before I did paintball, I had a 6-foot by 20-foot half pipe in my front yard, and I would just skate till the sun would set from sun up to sundown. Yeah,
dude, Oliver was amazing. He was I think in middle school still, and he was like a huge advocate for like allowing skaters to skate.
Yeah.
And he he organized these rallies and went out in front of City Hall in the town we lived in, and eventually they built a skate park. Wow. Basically because of him and a bunch of other kids that like were trying to tell people that they're not, hoodlums, they're just kids wanting to skateboard. And I think because he was involved in that skate side of things, like he really saw the possibilities with paintball. Like he was like, oh, there's pro paintball. Like I know what pro skating is. Like that's, it could be like that, but I never saw it that way. So I wasn't like, oh yeah, we're going to build a pro team and go like play in the MPPL. Cause I didn't even know the MPPL was a thing. I thought the Mare Island Cup was the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rally the troops, man. That's what it's all about. That's awesome. Wow.
Awesome, man. Well, Alex, MVP, legend, GOAT, Hormesis God, king of the world right now.
Yeah, you are. You're on the top of the mountain, baby.
I'm just trying to be a good dad.
Yeah, amen, huh? Man. That's the truth. God, I had to take my son to the dentist for the first time today, and it's been a rough day. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is. It's the most rewarding though. There's nothing higher than that for sure. It's when they tell you they love you or tell you to get out of my room, Dad.
Yeah,
you're like, all right,
melt you.
Yeah.
You were telling us Alice isn't a fan of your dad jokes anymore.
Oh no, she doesn't want any part of it. She does like this one that Blake taught me the other day though, but I'll show you right now. So
we get a joke. There we go.
Yeah. So here's how you do it. So if you got to have something round like this.
He's got scissors for the YouTubers.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's a round thing, and it's you can make a duck call out of it. So you can call ducks for like duck hunting. Right. Hold on. That's how you do it. Hold on, it's not working. Hold on. All right, here we go. Calling all ducks. So she likes that. She likes that one.
That's a great one, dude. Yeah. Hey, and you're the real MVP for being on this wired-in phone for 2 hours again, dude. You're corded into the computer with a phone up to your ear this whole time. So you are the MVP.
I haven't even switched ears.
No, you haven't. That's impressive.
Oh man, this one's sensitive.
That was the first ear switch of the whole show. You've been dialed in. Al, thank you so much for everything, man. We love you. We appreciate you so much. And on behalf of the PTG community, thank you for donating those amazing bands to the community. That's going to be outstanding. We can't wait to get those out to everybody.
Congrats to you, Marcelo. And Tyler, you and me, we need to have a sit down and, get our affairs in order. And over a couple of martinis, which Randy can pay for.
Martinis.
Sarge. On Sarge.
Hey, and guys, also along with those Hormesis Dynasty headbands, we have a Dynasty First Place Windy City Major medal that we're also going to be giving away for the community too. So stay tuned. In the Discord, we're going to be hooking you guys up. It's fantastic.
Dude,
Alex,
love you guys.
Love you, dude.
Love you
so much.
You guys are kings.
You are too,
See you both soon.
See you, bro. Peace.
All right, PTG fam, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on that episode. Man, that was amazing. Alex is always one of the most honest and real individuals that you're ever going to get to talk to. He isn't afraid to open up and let you into his mind and the type of things that he's working to overcome to become such a fantastic person, player, human, father, business owner, whatever it is. He is who he is because he is so real and open with himself. And I hope you guys were able to understand that and get that from this show. If you guys would like, you could head over to ptgpaintball.com. Get in on the action. Join our Discord. Our Discord is absolutely amazing. It's blowing up. People are having a ton of fun in there. We have a great community we're building and tons of amazing giveaways. If you guys want in on the awesome giveaway that Alex is doing for the PTG supporters, you can get in on that. We also have, again, the medal. Our website is brought to you by Rusty Glaze at Constant Pursuit. If you guys need a website done, Rusty is your guy. All right, PTG fam, we will see you, as always, very soon.